To most people, this might look like just another hunt. But for us, it's far more than that. It's a mission. Wild boars aren't your typical game. They're a destructive force of nature, aggressive, unstoppable, and merciless. Out here in the open fields, it takes speed, precision, and serious firepower to stand a chance against them. That's why we're taking to the skies in this helicopter, carrying out a mission our community has trusted us with, to defend the harvest and safeguard this land. Come along for the ride as we launch into today's wild boar pursuit. Stick with us until the very end, and cast your vote for the most jaw-dropping takedown. Our team geared up, head to toe in protective equipment. Headsets drowned out the roar of the rotors as we climbed aboard the compact helicopter bound for the misty fields below. Dawn across the prairie is the prime hour to strike. When the dark outline of a wild boar breaks through the haze, the plan unfolds with precision. The chopper dips low, my finger squeezes the trigger, and the shots ring out, fast, sharp, and final. The first takedown of the day is complete. But victory never lasts long out here. Fresh trails of destruction carve a path straight toward the western fields, and we follow. The moment the herd catches sight of us, they scatter in all directions, a move as old as the hunt itself. Then a voice cuts through my earpiece, priority target on the right. I swing into position and open fire. Quick bursts chase down the beast, and though it fights with speed and power, there's no escaping the inevitable. From the open side of the helicopter, James spots a shadow darting across the field with unusual speed. The pilot banks hard, setting the angle. Then, from hundreds of meters out, James squeezes off a single round. Perfect shot. No luck involved, just the steady hand of a professional sharpened by years of experience. By midday, the heat drives the boars deep into thick, unforgiving cover. Up here, the helicopter is no longer our edge, so we shift to ground tactics. Tracking fresh prints through the brush, we push a boar to the base of a steep slope. It scrambles upward, but in that desperate move, its weakness is revealed. David takes the opening, fires clean, and the beast collapses, sliding lifelessly back downhill. On the far side of the field, Rose moves like a shadow through the brush. Steady hands, steady breath, her focus razor sharp. She squeezes the trigger, and with a single crisp shot, the target drops instantly. That's the standard we hold ourselves to: efficient, precise, and silent. The real reward isn't the takedown itself, but in knowing the nearby families can rest easy tonight, free from the chaos these animals bring. As the sky fades into twilight, we start packing up for the day. Then, without warning, a rough boar's head pushes out of the thicket just steps away from the open fire. It freezes, convinced that stillness will cloak it from sight. But the hunt doesn't forgive hesitation. One swift pull of the trigger ends the illusion, a clean final shot that closes the day's mission in perfect form. From the adrenaline-pumping aerial strikes at sunrise to the gritty ground pursuit by afternoon, our team carried out the mission without missing a beat. Waiting at the edge of the fields, the Land Rover Defender stands ready to haul us, and the day's hard-earned results back home. As always, a share of the game will go to the farmers who put their trust in us to protect their land. Later, when we roll back the footage on the iPhone 15, the clarity is unreal. Every highlight, every shot feels larger than life. And this is just the beginning. If these moments had you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. We'll be back soon, faster, sharper, and ready for the next challenge. Just a week ago in Spain, a family woke to chaos, their young livestock gone without a trace, save for deep, unfamiliar tracks carved into the soil. The signs told the story. Authorities wasted no time, calling in Kevin's hunting team to track the menace. Step by step, they pushed into the wild, where every movement carried risk and every shadow could conceal danger. These hunters knew the truth. Wild boars aren't just game, they're predators. The question was whether peace could be restored to the families depending on them. At first light, The team cut into the thickets, determined to stop the raiders once and for all. Kevin took position along a trail thick with signs of movement. Seconds later, the hounds erupted in a frenzy, and a massive boar burst into view. Kevin steadied, fired, and clipped its hind leg. The beast lunged forward in desperation, but Kevin pressed on, unleashing a storm of firepower that brought the brutal chase to an end. The dogs erupted again, their barking slicing through the chaos. Kevin sprinted forward, eyes locked on the tree lean, just as a herd of wild boars came thundering across his path. Instinct took over. He fired in rapid succession, dropping several in seconds, but the sheer size of the herd was overwhelming. Luckily, Kevin wasn't fighting this battle alone. The real hunt was just getting underway. Deeper in the thickets, James caught the flicker of movement. A shadow cut across the brush, but as trained, I never wavered. One perfect shot dropped the beast on the spot. At the same time, tension boiled over on the western slope. A massive boar burst from cover, slamming into one of the dogs. Kevin reacted instantly, working in sync with the hounds. Together, they cornered the brute, and with a final shot, Kevin brought it down before it could escape into the wild. Moments later, a full herd thundered straight into Kevin's line of fire. Without flinching, he and his crew raised their rifles. The brush exploded with movement, and in a matter of seconds the air filled with gunfire. One by one, the boars dropped until the charge was broken. Relief swept through the team, their cheers echoing across the field. But just as they thought the fight was over, another shadow crept into Kevin's sights. He steadied, squeezed the trigger, and the beast collapsed in the dust. This isn't just a sport, it's a fight for survival. Wild boars tear through crops, leaving fertile farmland in ruins. Each hunt is a race against devastation, a test of courage against creatures built for chaos. The question is, can hunters stop them before it's too late? Step into the heart of the swamp, where danger lurks under every step and survival hangs by a thread. Stay with us until the very end, and cast your vote for the most unforgettable takedown of the hunt. Within a single week, the land had been torn apart in broad daylight, trampled by packs that seemed to multiply with every passing hour. Fear spread so deeply that farmers no longer dared to plant their crops. Determined to end the devastation, Thomas and his hunting crew prepared an ambush, carefully studying the terrain and the creatures' predictable paths. This wasn't just another hunt, it was a fight to take back what was theirs. The only question was whether the plan would hold, or if the destruction would continue. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss what comes next. At first light, Thomas and his crew slipped quietly into the field scarred by destruction. The hunting dogs were unleashed, noses to the ground, quickly locking onto a scent. Their sharp barks broke the morning silence, warning that the fight was about to begin. Then, out of nowhere, a massive boar exploded from the brush and charged straight at them. The hunters didn't flinch. Gunfire cracked through the air in an instant. The beast collapsed within seconds, a testament to the team's flawless aim and years of experience working as one. But the hunt was far from over. Pushing deeper into the field, Thomas scanned the shifting shadows, every muscle tight with focus. Then he saw it, a dark figure grazing in the distance, blissfully unaware that the hunters had already marked it as their next target. Thomas slid into position, steadying his aim with calm precision. In one smooth motion, he pulled the trigger. The shot rang out, and the massive beast crumpled instantly, a clean, decisive takedown that ended the threat before it could cause more damage. For a moment, the field seemed to breathe again. But danger still lurked. At the western edge, another dark figure emerged, ready to unleash chaos. This time, Jay was waiting. His rifle barked with relentless fire, each round striking with deadly accuracy. The beast stumbled, faltered, and within seconds collapsed in the dirt, its rampage cut short before it ever began. Another predator silenced. Another stretch of farmland defended. When night finally settled in, the real hunt began. By 7 p.m., Thomas and his team were in position, cloaked in darkness and ready for the fight ahead. With infrared binoculars lit up, the field came alive in glowing detail, a herd of wild boars rooting near the edge, completely unaware they were being watched. Thomas steadied his rifle, locked onto a target, and pulled the trigger. The shot cracked through the night, and chaos erupted instantly. Boars scattered in every direction, leaving one of their own lifeless in the dirt. Pushing deeper into the field, the hunters moved with measured steps, every sense on high alert. Then a sudden rustle cut through the silence. Thomas whipped his flashlight toward the sound, revealing another beast. He didn't hesitate. One decisive shot dropped it where it stood. A sudden alert signaled another presence nearby. Through the glow of infrared lenses, the team spotted not just a single target but an entire herd clustered together, poised to wreak havoc. Every rifle locked in, and then the night exploded with gunfire. The boars never had a chance. In seconds, the ground was scattered with fallen beasts, and a major threat had been cut down before it could strike. Across France, the wild boar crisis is reaching alarming levels. These animals are tearing through crops, causing millions of dollars in losses, and spreading the risk of dangerous diseases. Farmers are running out of options, and hunters are the last line of defense. But the question remains, will this battle be enough to hold them back, or is it only the beginning of a larger war? At dawn, Thomas and his crew loaded into an off-road vehicle and rumbled toward a farmland in France. The moment they arrived, each man slipped into his assigned position, ready for action. Barely 10 minutes passed before one hunter caught movement, a familiar silhouette cutting across the field. He raised his rifle and fired without hesitation. Shots cracked through the still morning air, and the beast went down hard, collapsing into the grass with no chance to escape. Their first victory had come swiftly and decisively. The hunt pressed on. In the distance, another boar broke into a frantic sprint, desperate to flee. One of the hunters quickly moved to intercept, blocking every possible path. As the animal closed in, the trigger was pulled, boom! And the bullet struck true. Quick. The boar dropped instantly. Had they been a second slower, the outcome could have been far more costly. Meanwhile, chaos erupted in a nearby field. Thomas steadied his rifle as his teammates closed in on the charging beast's position. Gunfire thundered across the open land, each shot dropping another boar in quick succession. Within minutes, the rampaging horde had been wiped out, their bodies strewn across the grass. For the moment, the danger was over, and the farmland finally breathed in peace. Hunting stories like this remind us that it's not just about the thrill of the chase. It's about protecting farmland, safeguarding livelihoods, and restoring balance between humans and nature. Every shot fired is part of a larger mission to control invasive species responsibly and prevent further destruction. As hunters, we carry the responsibility to act ethically, respect the land, and ensure that future generations can enjoy a safe and sustainable environment. If you found this hunt as gripping as we did, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay tuned for our next video where the battle for balance continues.